Have you ever met someone and felt as if you've known this person for many years? Hello, I have a question for you. Have you ever met someone and felt an immediate connection with that person and felt as if you've known the person for many years, but in reality you haven't? You feel a strong connection that is of love, joy, admiration, and gratitude. Think about that for a moment. That happened to me not that long ago. I was part of this amazing celebration. I was part of celebrating the 100 years of the school that I work for. And we were talking about the history and where we are and more or less where we are going. But not only that, a special class came to celebrate with us. And John, one of the students, one of the members of the class, 1955, donated money for a mural. And this mural represents our past, our present, and our future. Not only that, it was made by a beautiful, talented artist, local artist, Antonio Marte. And I had the privilege of seeing this mural unveil and take form. And it was so nice. But not only that, now I get to see this beautiful mural every day I go to work. So Mr. Marshall, also a member of 1955 class, wrote and shared a poem with us. And the poem was so beautiful. And I get very focused on the words of the poem, but also of Mr. Marshall high energy.
Shorac Kappock, a centennial celebration. The Magnet School of STEAM Studies, Shorac Kappock Elementary School, PS 98. Founded in 1924, the start of the school we adore. 100 years is a very long time. To celebrate, I have written this rhyme. Shorac Kappock, a tulip tree of old. It was said, a lovely sight to behold. The site of where Manhattan was sold. So goes the legend we've been told. A tree whose roots run so deep, with a spirit we need to keep. The Rekgamwank lived here before the Dutch arrived on our shore, followed by the English, the Irish and Jewish, Italians and Polish, families coming from Africa and Mexico, and up from South America not so long ago, including the Puerto Ricans and today the Dominicans, all together Americans. Our beloved Inwood, such a diverse neighborhood. This here is where it all began, essentially quite a time span, an educational oasis that is the foundational basis for the learning that will do the trick, reading, writing, and arithmetic. The echoes in the hallways were filled with laughter, always. And over all the decades, overwhelming accolades as generation after generation receive their elementary education, beginning with the greatest in 24, followed by the silent coming through the door, and the baby boomers we all adore. Then came X, Y, and Z, amazing as can be. Today, Alpha in attendance. Tomorrow, Beta in ascendance. Now all the students learn how to dream, magnetically drawn by a head of steam. Science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics also appearing, offering varied stimulations for the bright-eyed students' creations. And that is why we celebrate 100 years at PS 98.
I am reflecting on the words of the poem, but I'm also thinking about my life. And I felt this sense of peace, but at the same time of melancholic. At the end of the celebration, we all go to where the mural will be unveiled. And as I go to see the final part of the celebration, I went up to Mr. Marshall and I asked him, I introduced myself and I asked him, can I use your poem? And he said, of course, because I wanted to ask him for permission. And I said, you know, your poem really touched me. It was so beautiful. And I said, my husband, Mike, is 100% Irish. And so was his late wife, Maria. My late husband, Ed, was Polish, part Polish. And that's what Jalowicki, one of my last names, comes from. And I said, and I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. And so your poem made me almost go in a full circle. And I started to cry. I started to cry, and Mr. Marshall was so kind and empathetic. And he said, do you want the copy that I have? I only have one copy. And I said, no, I was able to record you reading the poem. So I have that, but I can ask a copy to my principal. He saw that I continued to cry, and I just let myself cry. He opened up his heart, and I felt that, and opened up his arms, and he embraced all of me with a beautiful hug of loving kindness. And I accepted that love, and at the same time, I'm so grateful because I needed that hug at the moment. I, shortly after, dried up my tears and I said, thank you, it was nice meeting you. And I left. And then I started to reflect on what had happened. And I said to myself, of course, you're going through grief. Grief creeps up on you when you least expect it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in this game called grief. As Queen Elizabeth said it, grief is the price we pay for love. And that quote is so real. Grief is a process, as I say in my book, that we all need to undertake and let it happen. Let it change you. Let it be. Do not suppress your grief. Cry when you want to cry. Share it when you want to share it. Embrace it, because you are not the only one going through it. There are many people going through grief. And all of us are going through it, are going to go through grief at one point in our lives. But what I want to share with you today is not only to be kind to yourself when grief creeps up on you out of nowhere, and to embrace it and let it out, let your grief out, because that's when you heal. That's when you start feeling better. It's part of you. It's a journey. But that's not the only thing I want to share with you today. I also want to share that, like Mr. Marshall opened his heart and his arms and embraced me and gave me that hug of love and kindness. That's what we came here to do. Let's do more of that. Let's embrace love. Let's give it. Let's receive it. Let's share it, especially with the people around us. We don't know how long we are going to be here for. We don't know how long the people that are around us are going to be here for. Let's let them know that we love them, that we appreciate them, that we are grateful to have them in our lives. Let's do more of these acts of kindness. Even if you don't know a person, but the person is crying and upset, open your arms and embrace them. Let them know that they're loved. That's what God wants us to do. And with that note, I leave you today. Bye for now.